Mike McCarthy back as head coach in 2025. It might just be a possibility, but let's break down what Jerry Jones's comments really might mean. What is up, everyone, and welcome into A to Z Sports Dallas Primetime. I am your host, Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you live every Sunday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central, and catching up with you Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays with quick-hitting videos such as this one. And we're here today to discuss what Jerry Jones just said on the radio at 105.3 The Fan regarding Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy. Jerry Jones is an interesting man. He basically told the radio that, hey, it wouldn't be crazy to extend Mike. Actually, it wouldn't be crazy to think that the Cowboys might extend Mike McCarthy after the season. The exact quote, and Bobby Belt from 105.3 The Fan asked him, hey, would it be crazy to think that this might happen? And Jerry Jones said, I don't think that's crazy at all. That's not crazy. Listen, Mike McCarthy is an outstanding coach. I was watching the game last night, and Troy Aikman was talking about it, and he's reiterated several times publicly, he's a Super Bowl winning coach. Mike McCarthy has been there, done that. He's got great ideas. And then he did go on to add that there's nothing that the Cowboys have said or done that might show what they're thinking for 2025 and beyond. I think this is true, the latter. I think the Cowboys, they really have not done anything to let us know that they're trying to keep Mike McCarthy around. But Jerry's comments certainly captured a lot of attention, which makes me think of this. And I think this is the only takeaway that Cowboys fans should really have out of this Jerry Jones quote, which is Jerry does it again. He is the master of headlines, the master of staying relevant, and the master of getting people talking about his team, even if they are 4-7. Remember what we talked about last week? Ticket prices for Thanksgiving versus the Giants are incredibly low. I'm talking about $50 tickets in the bleachers, $47 tickets. You can be behind the Cowboys sideline for under $500. These are not normal prices for AT&T Stadium. So Jerry Jones going on the radio and saying such a thing shouldn't surprise anybody, because look at what it's doing. I'm talking about it here on Primetime. There's 1,000 news sites talking about this, and another 1,000 Cowboys content creator channels that are going to talk about this because people want to talk about it, of course. So I think if you're trying to make something out of what Jerry said, it should be just that, right? Think about it from this point of view. What is Jerry supposed to say? That's a good question from Bobby Belt. I'm not going to say otherwise, right? Bobby's amazing at what he does. He's got to ask the question. It's a great question, and it got people talking. But what is Jerry supposed to say? Oh, yeah, that would be insane, Bobby. We have ruled it out. Heck, I ruled it out since October, Bobby. What team are you watching? Jerry's not going to say that ever. So I think, this comment, obviously it's making the rounds across the entire Cowboys ecosystem and entire world. And again, it's a good question. But I also kind of think, what is he supposed to say in that scenario? He cannot say that he's ruled it out because the guy is still coaching his football team. He cannot say, I've given up on Mike McCarthy. Then why is he still on the team? Oh, right? He cannot say that. So he's got to say, of course, I have not ruled it out. And I do think it's true that there's a lot of football left to be played, and I don't say that in the sense that the Cowboys still have a playoff shot, because I don't believe that to be true. But we might still be, I just don't think the Joneses know what they're going to do. They might have an inclination, they should have an inclination, but I don't know that they truly know what they're going to do. Now, that's one part of the conversation. However, are the Cowboys really going to consider extending Mike McCarthy? I've got an opinion on that, and I know you do too, so let me know in the comments. Do you think the Cowboys are really considering extending Mike McCarthy beyond 2024? I'll give you my answer, but before I do any of that, I will let you know this. The Cowboys should be betting at Texas Card House, because, man, Texas Card House is where you can join the premier poker experience where you can meet the thrill of the game with the excitement of the community. And if you played poker, you know how important community is in this fabulous game, because I really think it's a great game. Poker. I absolutely love some Texas Hold'em, and you can play it at a top-notch facility located near you. They've got 6 locations in Texas. Las Colinas in Dallas venue. Not only are they special, but you can go there and mention ADZ Sports, and guess what? You will get a free month of membership and 2 free hours to play poker at a place where you can get the perfect mix of luxury, sophistication, and camaraderie for poker aficionados. That is, whether you are just starting out or you are a seasoned pro in the game of poker. Go to Texas Card House, go to the Las Colinas venues and Dallas venues, and mention us, and you'll get a free month of membership. Shout out to Texas Card House. I don't know if the Cowboys are going to bet on Mike McCarthy, but they should bet on Texas Card House. With that being said, let me talk to you about my opinion on the whole Mike McCarthy thing and whether or not he will return after this year. I cannot rule it out. No, I'm not talking about what Jerry's saying on the radio. It's not what I'm talking about. But let's just look at Jerry's history with the Cowboys. He did the whole Tom Landry thing, and then he did the Jimmy Johnson thing. I get that. But since then, or after that, he went through this phase of firing coaches left and right, and we got David Campo, and we got Wade Phillips, and people were coming and going, Bill Parcells, and then he parked for a decade with Jason Garrett. He was comfortable with Jason Garrett. Then, it came to a point where that was no longer viable. So he went ahead and got himself a Super Bowl winning head coach in Mike McCarthy. And it wouldn't be crazy to think that Jerry is going to do the Jason Garrett approach with Mike McCarthy as well. I don't think it would be crazy to think about that, especially because McCarthy has been such a clear and obvious upgrade over Garrett. The Cowboys never went to the playoffs in back-to-back years with Jason Garrett at the wheel. And Mike McCarthy, they did it 3 times, winning 12 games each season. Now, I'm not trying to say that they should bring Mike McCarthy back. I'm trying to say, Jerry Jones, I could totally see him being comfortable with that. And the way that this season is going, I think it might come to a point where Jerry kind of forgets about the early season troubles that don't get me wrong, a lot of them were caused by him and his front office and the way that they built the team. But I could see Jerry Jones sitting here in the 26th of November and looking at the players that are injured and looking at the guys that are coming back. And then the Cowboys winning some games, right? They obviously beat the Commanders. They might beat the Giants on Thanksgiving. Then they get the Bengals, who, you cannot rule out anything with the Bengals the way that they're playing. And then you get the Carolina Panthers. You might beat them too. The Cowboys might be close to the 500 mark after all by the time the season is over. And I could see Jerry Jones sitting there and thinking, well, we got some bad luck with the injuries, right? With Dak being out, with DeMarcus Lawrence missing as much time as he did, with Brandon Cooks being out as well for so many weeks, with Deron Bland's injury in training camp. Well, damn it, we just got unlucky, didn't we? I can run this back, and I can spend maybe some extra dollars in free agency. Maybe I won't be the top team in dollars spent, but I won't be at 32nd this year, and we should be fine. I could totally see Jerry Jones doing that and thinking that. And here's the thing, Cowboys Nation, I know you do too. I know I've got a point here. Now, if I had to make a prediction, though, I still think the Cowboys part ways with Mike McCarthy after the season is over. But I'm here to tell you, cannot rule out anything with this Cowboys team and with this owner. And the way things are going, it might get to a point where the Cowboys just chalk it up to injuries, especially Dax, and try to do this all again in 2025. I don't think it would work out. Here's another thing, Cowboys, man. The fact that Mike Zimmer's defense is on an upward trajectory absolutely helps out Mike McCarthy because it makes it viable to just run it back with the entire coaching staff. Instead, if it's just, we got to change defensive coordinator and we got to change this and we got to change that, the Cowboys might have been more comfortable and more inclined to do an entire overhaul. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, he's going to be out after this season, but don't rule it out. However, don't let the reason for you not to rule it out, what Jerry Jones said today, don't let that be the reason. Jerry Jones might be doing this thing on the radio and very likely is doing that on the radio just to get us talking and get us discussing the Cowboys. There's a reason why every team's attempt every year to steal America's team title from the Cowboys is pretty ridiculous. It's not about football. It's not about on the field and the product on the field. It's about everyone talking about the Cowboys 24/7 and how Jerry Jones has been able to keep that going for so long. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button for me and hope that you enjoyed the show. And I'll see you tomorrow, same place. Bye-bye.